Hi everyone, my name today is Eve Smith and I'm going to answer a question that we've been getting a zillion times in the Discord, and that is how do we use the blast furnace, which is this thing over here. It's the blast furnace, the bessemer converter, and the empty ladle card. That is quite a mystery to some people, so we wanna end that mystery. Now, I am in Town, which is probably the last place on the server that needs more steel, but we're gonna make more steel anyway. Just one set, just so you guys understand what's happening with this entire setup. So before we get started, there's a few things we need to have. So we have some kerosene here, which is good. We have some limestone, that's also good. There's some coke piles here, also very good. We'll need one basket of that if we want to make 12 steel. We have all these ingot molds here, which is fine. However, I am going to move a few of them out of the way. Usually 6 of these is enough for your setup, so I'm just gonna set it up with 6, and I do it in like a bit of a cross-like pattern, so that you basically have an empty spot between all of these boxes, and most towns will just have 6 of these. Now Erie has 12, which is probably also efficient, but is a luxury you probably won't have, and I'm going to show you how to do it fast that way. Now, before I get started, I do want to talk about Coke. So Coke, I'm not talking about the beverage. I'm also not talking about the drugs. Coke is different than charcoal. Coke comes from the coal you get from the coal mine. Charcoal comes from burning wood. So charcoal is basically burned wood, and coke is actually coal from the ground. So you see that there's slight differences in how they look. The coke is slightly grayer, though it's really hard to see. But you know, when you hover over it, it does show a difference between what is what. Now the coke comes from the coal mine, as I said, so let's get some over here. Would be nice if I had a friend to help me here and I wouldn't need to do everything on myself, but it's okay. We can get some coke. So you can see that I'm not getting that much, but I should get enough for a few baskets. So coke is a little bit annoying in that it only stacks in piles of 3, as opposed to most items which stack in piles of 6. But this is also the reason why for a coke mine you do want these shelves, because without it, it would be really annoying. So this is coal, and this is not yet coke. So if I want to make the coke like we have over here, then we need to take about, I think, 5 or 6 baskets. Luckily we have so many baskets here. Yeah, that's enough. And let us just get these all loaded up. And we also need to mine out a little bit of iron. There we go. So, we're starting with putting this in an oven. And it's apparently only 5 of these that you can put in. I always forget. We need to get a little fire going. And is there an axe in this area? Because I kind of need an axe. Luckily we have some axe heads over here. Always nice to have a tool shed right next to where you do your smithing. And now let's get a branch so we can finish the axe. Honestly, you might be like, Jesse, you should have prepared this better. Look at you. Look at you just making your tools as you're playing and recording. Hey, it's okay. It gives you guys some time to relax, okay? So, to burn up that coke that we have in the oven, we just add a kindling. Basically the same as you cook up anything. You bring some fire, you hit it twice, and now this will turn into coke. Yeah, and that's basically it for coke. Now, the next thing we need is iron, obviously, so let's just get to it. Let's get some iron. Once again, everything in the smithy that I'm doing here is probably easier if you have a friend to help you and do it along with you. There we go. This should be enough for two sets. And now it's basically time to light up our blast furnace. So I recommend that you open the crafting guide for this. I do this myself. I usually don't know exactly what to begin with. Now it says take a steel axe and dismantle your thing. Don't do that. Don't dismantle anything. But it says start with basket of coke at the bottom. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a basket and we're gonna take this coke, not the charcoal, but the coke. Also, you might be wondering, okay, so if I'm making like steel from iron, should I use coke or the coal you got? I would say don't use it. Especially at the start, before you have your level 4 coal mine, the coal and the coke is rare, so don't use it for anything but this machine. Don't use it outside of that. Don't use it for making bronze or whatever, even if it's possible, okay? So first thing we do, we add coke. Doesn't seem like anything has happened, but there is a little bit of coke visible here. And it also says the blast furnace charged with coke. So now if we click this thing, it says use the kerosene. Okay, we can do that. We can use kerosene. Now, this machine is really loud. I am going to keep an eye on how loud it is precisely, because I don't want it so loud that you guys can't hear me. So I might turn down the game sound a little bit. Let me just do this. Yeah, this is quite loud, isn't it? So I'm gonna turn down the game sound. And I hope this is better for you guys, but just know this is a very loud thing to operate. Yeah, you might not be hearing the other noises as much now, but I still hope you can keep up. So basically what it says now, if we wait 5 minutes, it will just turn into a blast furnace charged with coke, and we would have wasted kerosene, basically. But if we use firebrand, if we bring some fire, we move it to the next stage. So now we are taking some fire and we are lighting this up. Okay, it's at the next stage. And once again, you are not really in a rush. Just touch it, check it's set to how do I use, and see what it does. Once again, it says if you wait 5 minutes, it turns back into a regular blast furnace. We don't want that. So now you see that there's actually a fire blazing inside. This thing is stirring like crazy. So the machine is really active now. And it says we should add a limestone. So here's some limestone. We put that in there. And if we touch it now it says that we can start feeding it things. Now, I recommend feeding it 12 iron ore. There are some other things you could feed it, which is pig iron, which is something you could make by accident, or scrap steel. Now, I do not recommend using scrap steel because scrap steel is used here for repairing tools. So only if you're like, oh, I have 5 billion scrap steel, should you do this. But don't do this if you only have like 4 or 5 scrap steel. Keep those for tools that might break. So back to this, we are starting with 12 iron. So we have some iron here. 1, 2, and also if you check, it takes about 5 minutes before it dies. So you have time to do this. You can take your time. Doesn't matter if you need to walk a little bit. Now, it could be more efficient if I was using my backpack for this. But, you know, I want it to be fashionable. So I was like, I won't wear a backpack today. I want to wear this nice black outfit. Also, Eriestown does not have any black boots. And I hate it. Erie, why doesn't your town have black boots? Like, what is this? So now, once again, it says again, if you wait 5 minutes, it will turn off. You will have wasted everything you just put in there. But now it says take the empty ladle card. So we will do that and we will touch this. You see the empty ladle card is empty. You touch this. And now there's molten stuff in here. Now you cannot put this down on the spot where you are standing. You need to put it on an empty spot. So it says now that it is molten pig iron. Pig iron is what we use to make things like the empty trash can that you see over here. It is also used to make... Sorry, I need to walk a little bit, but I know that there's a lot of it over here. So the pig iron is used to make these cast iron fences. These benches are made with pig iron. The fountain, I think, is made with pig iron too. The gazebo is made with pig iron. So basically this area has a lot of pig iron items that are decorative. the trash can is not as decorative. There's also some ornate panels here. Those are used to make those fences. And that's also pig iron. Now, in most cases, especially at the start of a town, you would rather have things like beams or sheet metal or just regular ingots. So right now, you see all these molds are called ingot molds, and that is good because we want to make ingots in Erie's town. However, you can change these molds with a stone. You could change it to sheet, like that's that stuff. You can change it to cylinder. You can change it to pan mold, which is, oh, that's used for that what's it called? The oven that you got in the kitchen. I'll show you that later. The ornament mold, the ingot mold. Anyway, right now, we are going to put that in there. And I touched it twice. So I put this in here to change it from pig iron into steel. So the bessemer converter converts pig iron into steel. So that's basically what this thing is doing. It takes 30 seconds and then it will be done. While it's doing that, I could already charge up this area again for a second time. I think I might do that. I think I might just charge it up for a second time. Now you see that you don't need a new Caro. You just add a basket of coke. You see that I'm touching it to see what it needs. Basket of coke, limestone. And now it needs the 12 iron again. So I'm already loading this up with 12 iron. I'm not worried. I am slower than usual because I am talking and explaining what I'm doing, but honestly, that's okay. So I hope you're all making notes about this, or maybe that you're doing it alongside me. And yes, you cannot do anything with the blast furnace if you do not have the ladle card and if you do not have the bessemer converter. I've also seen some people who get completely stuck, or who got completely stuck because in the past there wasn't much of a use for the pig iron. And then they had to make a second ladle card. So what I do now, you see that I take it and I turn around and I move it over here. And I'm completely free of this. It takes a second. And now it's putting down the molds. So, while it's doing this, you see that these are already cooling down, but it does take a little bit. So while they cool down, you also start removing them. Because we've just done a full tour and I'm back at the top now. And we're gonna do the rest of them. I try not to move with this thing. I'm gonna show you why. Look, I could try to move to the molds over here, but do you see how slow I am when I'm moving this? So I try not to be walking with this because this slows me down. I try to just move my body instead of moving the card itself. Okay, it's empty. So now we are going back over here. And we are actually not going to use the bessemer converter this time. We are going to make pig iron. So you will see the difference between the pig iron and what we had. And after that, we will use the pig iron to load up the machine again. And we're going to make some ornate panels with that. So what you see here, this is the pig iron ingot. You see they have a completely different color. You can't smith this, like you can't heat this up in the oven and start smithing anything out of it. But you can put it back in the blast furnace and use it that way. Sometimes I'm a little bit too fast for my own good. So at this moment, the blast furnace is empty. We know this because, well, we are the one that made it empty, right? So, let's check. There's 2 more that are cooling down, and that's 12 more pig iron now. So we are going to load it up with pig iron, and as before, it starts with charcoal. We add limestone. I mean, you should remember this now. See, it's limestone that it needs next. And then it needs whatever we're fueling it up with. And we are fueling it up with pig iron. Also, I am now a little confused. I don't think I could actually immediately have made the ornaments, but I am showing you what you do if you do have pig iron. So we want to make more ornate panels like this. So we are going to change it into ornaments. That's a beam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 hits is the ornaments. There we go. Alright, so we take out the pig iron. And we start making ornaments now. And the ornaments, we can use them for anything. Also, Moon, I just noticed there's the animation of it. Look, the animation is sort of... No, it's not missing. It's just a little bit delayed compared to the other animations. Huh, that's interesting. Very interesting. There is animation. I just thought there was none, but maybe I was just blind. Yeah, I think I was just being a little blind. Crisis averted. There's nothing wrong with the game. So, yeah. Oh well, we did it. We made the ornate panels now. So there's more things that you can make with this entire contraption. I don't know if this should be a video where I make every single thing, especially because we would be getting things that Eerie doesn't really need at this moment, like these beams and the sheet metal and also the oven. And that's something I'm going to show you now. Now, before I go, I will return all these boxes to ingots. Nothing is more annoying than a person comes in, thinks everything is ingots. Ingots is like the standard, and then suddenly they're making something that's not an ingot. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Okay, let's leave it as Eerie kind of left it. So Eerie is not gonna be like, who touched all my things? Who was here recording a video for YouTube without my permission? Eve Smith? Who is Eve Smith? I don't know her. Oh well. Anyway, also over here we have more coke. That thing got done cooking, so we're gonna move that over here because we did use a bit of coke from Eerie. Kind of an annoying spot. Maybe I should move the ladle cart up. I mean, Eerie's smithy is massive, and sometimes it still feels a little cramped because of how many resources she stores here. She's got so much stuff in there. There, oh, it's so loud at that thing. I'm gonna turn the game volume up again. There we go. So if I'm moving closer to the oven and it starts making a noise, I'm sorry. Listen. It's so loud. Okay, so we got more ornate panels for Eerie. This is left as it should be. Oh, another tip. Make yourself a steel wheelbarrow or two if you don't have any. And look how easily you can move this steel around. Ah, steel wheelbarrows are the invention of the century. Really, we got Moon to thank for so many great things that were added to 2 Hours One Life. These steel wheelbarrows, definitely one of the best quality of life things. So, I was talking about the pig iron and what you make with it. Well, this entire cast iron stove is made out of several components. So if it says, how do I make? It's basically cast iron sheets and cylinder. Okay, so this is made of 2 cylinders and a stack of cast iron sheets. So let's just quickly go back. I think that's 4. Yeah, it's 4 who come out of a mold. And it's actually molten cast iron. So it's not the pig iron that you use for this. It's the molten iron that you use. And also for the pan, right? Like the pan is also a mold. So basically 2 cylinders and 4 sheets made out of iron combined with the pan stuff will make an oven like this. There is a little bug with this oven. It doesn't cook very well at the moment. The fire goes out too soon in some cases. That's going to be fixed in the next release, most likely. So, you know, you guys can still make this oven. Just be aware that not every recipe works well. Yeah, and here you see another trash can. I've also noticed that these trash cans are a game changer if you do them like above your honey place, so you can put your debris in them. I think there's maybe a new honey meta coming with these trash cans, but that's for another video. So yeah, guys, I hope you learned how to use this little blast furnace here and the bessemer converter and the empty ladle card. How to build these things is an entirely different subject, and maybe I'm not the best person to explain because I'm not a main smith, right? I know how to use the smithy, but I'm not the best person when it comes to building up the smithies like Nukem and stuff. I need cheat sheets. I need to read everything because I never know what comes next or what's the next step or what I'm missing. I need to like have paper next to me to write things down. It doesn't come naturally to me. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I wish you a very fine day and see you next time. Bye bye.